show where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. We're the talk show, kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Shelton again from the ReUp online radio show. We live on YouTube and Facebook and all social media platforms. Just wanted to introduce this show that we did last week. This is the first segment from that show. It's actually a conversation, a discussion about this red pill trend that's been going on, and it's prompted by a response that we got from last week's show when we were talking about TD Jakes and his message that created some controversy on social media, a couple of weeks back. So take a listen to this. Tell us what you think. Definitely something that we need to, look into and consider. Let me know if we were right or wrong, if we are on point. If you got some other suggestions, make sure you comment and subscribe, and then I'll be there. I'll make sure we talk a little bit after the show. All right?
Just can't remember. I got you. We talked about trauma.
It's a slippery slope right now. It's a very slippery slope.
You got excited, or Dion got excited about focusing on the fruit instead of the root.
Yeah, that was good. You definitely pulled that one out of your memory bank.
Out of my memory bank. Huh?
Where? It's a good one. Right on the line.
Well, I tell you.
Right on the cusp.
So real quick, before we continue with this recap, again, I'd like to, introduce you guys to my lovely wife. She has joined the show. We like to have a female perspective on the show, and so Sonya's out celebrating her birthday, and Carla her name is Carla Seaworth, and she wants to jump in and have this conversation. And she's been on a couple of shows with us before.
The deaconess.
She knows how to handle us, a little bit. And then in the future, we're actually going to work on doing a show real soon, the men versus women.
Yes.
And we do the event, we do the actual event all the time, locally, but we're going to actually do the show online. So, yeah.
It's going to be hammer time.
Hammer time.
Oh, yeah. You got
it really is. Dirty. He going to tell all the business. That's what he's going to tell. Yeah, he going to tell all the business then. I just got to
brace yourself.
Smile and
brace yourself.
It'll be true. It's not a lie. It's the truth.
So last week when we had the show, we talked a little bit about Bishop, and if you did watch the show from last week, it was about this trend that we've been seeing on TikTok. Bishop did a Father's Day message, and he basically said that the women of today's culture need to let men be men, basically, to not feel like they have to take the place of men. And so I know I'm not saying it as good as Bishop, so just make sure you go look at the show. But one of the comments that came in based off of that show I thought was pretty interesting. All right, and so I read this comment to Dion right before the show. I really should have had the camera on to see his reaction, but I'm gonna read it to you now, right? And then I want to talk about it. This was actually something that I wanted to talk about in some of our future shows. It's this thing going on called the RedPill movement. It's a lot of masculine men having conversations about how they think women should act or, portray themselves with their husband or the person that they're committed with, how men should treat their woman. And so this person didn't claim the red pill, but he actually gave a lot of the feeling. So I'm gonna read this, and as always, 2 things I'm going to ask you guys to do: subscribe, share. It's going to actually be 3, and then chat with us. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your feelings. What you guys want to talk about. This is an active thing. I got the chat ready to pop up anytime you guys want to, have a conversation with us. So this was a comment from Bronze to Gold. He said, "You dudes need to speak for yourself. Black men like you don't protect your women. The black men that I know protect their women. They just don't tolerate obvious nonsense from disrespectful Black women. Grow a spine, because this was one of the weakest displays of Black masculinity I have seen on the net. Not only did you misrepresent data, you misrepresented Black men as a whole. The low self-esteem in this video is cringy all the way around." Wow. So if anybody knows me, I'm, very transparent. So I'm gonna tell you what my first reaction was as a man. My nature was I wanted to respond in probably a more masculine way. I think I saved my masculinity for, dudes. I don't need to be over masculine with my wife. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me. So, I did reach out. I wanted to know what part of the show he was referring to that, may have made him feel the way that he felt. I don't really even remember us talking too much about masculinity or anything like that, other than the challenge to men to step up and be more men, to take care of, their business. Dion, what's your thoughts, man? Keep it good now. Don't. You need a minute? Because we gotta eat.
I'll go. I mean, first of all, it didn't make me feel any type of way. I thought the show was really good. I think the portion of what is being displayed, from Bishop's message is just a part of the message. So it's kind of like anything else. If you just take a snippet of it, you got to hear the whole thing to get a good, informed idea of what he was talking about. So,
and I thought that was the focus of
what
we were talking about last week.
And even with his comment, I don't know. With listening to the show, I'm not sure. I can't see where he's coming from. But the childish version of me don't really care because he misspelled, he capitalized. If you're going to try to go off on somebody, at least understand how grammar works. So I can't even, along with not understanding where the point is coming from, I can't even follow what he has written. So it's not even a good display of his point. So I don't feel that he really wanted a response. And to add to this, some of these platforms are just toxic. If you are used to reading comments, which I always jump and read the comments, you can just kind of see the type of people that are in the comments. And so, I think he's a non-factor, not saying he's not a person, but I don't understand the reasoning, and if you don't like it, just keep scrolling. You see tons of data on a daily basis. So what was in this video, that made you feel like you needed to respond? And I mean, it's Jag Agape, baby. It's all about love. So either way, we back.
We back.
I get the love aspect of it, and I enjoy that. But like Mr. Dynamite told you last week,
okay,
you're not going to get on here and disrespect anybody on the show and bully them or any of that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Because as long as I've been saved, I've also been a firm believer in having the spirit of Peter. And
Okay.
The spirit of Peter.
Here we go.
my pull-up game is strong. My pull-up game is
It's not-
strong.
For those of you who don't know who Peter is, in the Bible,
Yeah.
he cut the ear off.
Smooth off.
He cut the ear off.
Like, he didn't flinch. And it was gone.
They was trying to take Jesus, and he cut the ear off.
So be real careful, how you handle us, because at the end of the day, I wasn't speaking of us specifically. I'm talking about black people, black men in general. And it looks like that comment was directed more at the portion of the show where I was talking. And that also is a no-no.
It's just
it's like you trying to cyberbully us, and it's not going to pan out well for you.
It's just in general, though. I mean, women. The statement about not taking
Nonsense from disrespectful black women.
I mean, what does that mean? Because here's, as a woman, and I really didn't want to steal y'all show, but one of the things about black women is that we're caught in a catch-22. So black women has some type of bubble over their head that we got attitude. We gonna roll our neck. We waiting to pop off. And then when we don't do that, it's almost like people are pushing you to get this stereotype out of you. But to me, because a woman has an opinion, because she speaks her mind, that's any race. So disrespect is not a color specific thing. So coming from a male, which I'm not sure what race he is or not, but even for that, why is a black woman just not protected? You know what I mean? Like, why is it that coming from a black male, you got to say the words disrespectful of attached or associated to a black woman? You know what I'm saying? When disrespect can come from anybody, any color, it's just being a woman. All women deserve respect, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make. So just in his statement, I don't think, because I'm not going to think about this after this, but I was just trying to at least understand the comment. I don't think we have to agree on everything, but we should be respectful, is my opinion.
And I think that's what it is. I mean, there was a tone of disrespect in his message, very strong tone in it. A lot of assumptions. The one thing I will say, this is definitely from the flesh, if you ran up on my wife, you would understand how protected she was by me, by her sons,
By me.
by you too. You gotta break them nails, baby. But he made a lot of assumptions about a lot of things. But like I said, I at first I got very offended by it, just transparently. But again, this is his point of view, and it seems, this is one person, but every time I pick up TikTok, every time I pick up YouTube, this is the type of thing. Huh?
I think Bishop One Leg got something to say.
This is the type of stuff that
you're saying,
that I'm seeing and I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising to me that you have someone that is approaching whatever we said last week in our episode, the way that he's respected, because that's pretty much the norm. That's the trend that everybody's jumping on right now.
But we're always addressing surface stuff anyways. A lot of this stuff is, we're not getting to the root of it anyway. So to me, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of those videos, and I've seen it from a woman's perspective too, of it's just really on attack mode. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, for what we do is we don't just focus on me as a woman, you as a gentleman, but we focus on a family. So things like this, these people have children. Their children date our children, you know what I mean? So it's a continual thing that when we're constantly showing disrespect to one another, it goes beyond us. You know what I'm saying? This is, our kids are gonna watch these videos and they're dating. Most of our kids are grown. You know what I mean? So they're of a dating age. So the same TikTok that I'm on, they're on.
Right.
You know?
Before I pull up the scripture, Dion, and we go biblical with this.
This is Bishop One Good Leg.
Bishop One Good. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting.
What
y'all
other
look,
leg do Bishop
y'all look
One Good
so
Leg?
much alike, man. Y'all look so much alike.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to unwrap here. So again, this is not going to be the entire topic of this show.
It can't be.
It can't be because, like you said, there's a lot to unwrap there. I know last week I did talk about balance, about the pendulum swinging. Right? We talked about how women were so abused and so misused and not able to vote. I mean, you had black people that weren't considered human and women right above, slightly above black people. You know what I mean? That's the history of it, right? So, and so we went from that all the way to, again, truth be told, there are a lot of independent women out here. People who are, I don't need a man, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm, all of this, very, very independent talk. So I get where you might have this I don't know, thought that this is how all women are, but one, that's ignorant in itself to say all people are that way.
To use all and anything is always ignorance.
Very ignorant.
Because nothing can cover anything in all consumption that way. So
and the one thing
you
I
ain't
want
met
to
every woman
address
in the
here
world.
is this show is not to address and represent all black men. I come representing Christ. This is what this show is about. So we take cultural things and we talk about it from a practical sense on what the Bible actually says about it and how we're supposed to live with it. That's why I'm really trying to take the high road on this and really understand, have some understanding of where my brother might be coming from.
We tried it, so let's just see what the scriptures say.
Yeah. So, I mean, the scripture that came to mind for me, right, is something that, when I talk to young men about marriage and about our responsibility in marriage, is Ephesians 5:21. All right. And let me bring that up for everybody. And so I'm going to start at verse 21, probably read down to, 30, or right before 30. But this is, to me, what true masculinity looks like, especially in the eyes of God, right? And then I'm going to speak to the women, because it's a big part of this as well. Verse 21 says, submitting yourself one to another in the fear of God. Wives, submit yourself unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Stop there real quick. Again, a lot of women, a lot of men, a lot of us take this verse or take this out of context, take offense to that portion of it. But the part that I really want to challenge the men, and especially this man on our feed right here, is husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he may sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Right? And so I want you guys to think about that. Love your wives as Christ loved the church. What did Christ do for the church, Deanna?
Gave his life.
He died. He did more than give his life. He got whipped, cat of nine tails. He got beat beyond recognition. Had to carry his own cost. I mean, the most vile death ever for the church. And God is comparing husbands to love their wives like that. So, to me, true masculinity is really loving your wife through a lot of these tough things, through a lot of the things you think I'm feeling disrespected. How many times the people that are listening to me have disrespected or done something that went against God, and God still gives you grace, still forgives you,
Right.
Still listen. He's comparing that type of love with the love that we're supposed to have with his wife. And I heard somebody say this. I don't know. I'm sorry I can't give him credit on Twitter. And this was, just probably the best thing that I've heard on the net in a while was, I think husbands, if we learn how to love our wives in that way, it probably will be a lot easier for them to submit to us, right? Honestly, I only speak for myself. I don't feel like my wife is going to go out and find someone that's going to love her as much as I do, care for her as much as I do, right? I don't feel that. Like I, as a man, as a masculine man, go ahead and use that word, right? I don't, but if she does, I'm secure enough to understand and know it's not because of me. It's not because of something that I'm not doing or that I'm not trying to do. Because I can't say that I'm perfect at this. Loving someone in that level.
That's some big shoes.
That's some big shoes.
Yeah.
And so on the other hand, women, if your man is loving you in that way, it should be a little bit easier. I mean, and all I can compare it to is my walk with God.
It has to be. Because anytime God gives instructions in the scriptures, in my opinion, he's telling you this is the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's written out for us. We don't got to guess about this. This is written out for us. So if this takes place, then this is going to take place. You know what I mean? So in where it's talking to the wives, it's telling us what we need to do. He don't want us to assume. He wants you to know for sure this is the answer. This is what you should do. So those lines, easy to read. They're big. That's probably your entire marriage. You're walking out that journey to live up to those things. So just being a woman, just the idea of submission. We've been to a lot of events and we've been to, different, couple things. And, the word submission I've seen when mentioned in rooms, women already in arms, already mad, it's already kind of like a cringy word. It kind of has, I guess, maybe like a negative connotation, but that's because it's put into the context of your experience. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's difficult to follow a fool. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a good man, not being a perfect man. So this is just as a sidebar. I don't ever think he can do anything wrong. Like, I don't think it's nothing that he can't know. I don't give him grace for that. Like, didn't you know? Why didn't you know? So in my mind, I don't have to worry about it because he's not even thinking he's human. Like, of course he don't know everything there is to know. But because I have so much trust for him, I just believe he knows it. You know what I'm saying? And then I have to sometimes come back and apologize to him like, babe, I'm sorry I got mad at you for not knowing, for being a human and not knowing everything, but it's easier in that way for me to follow him in that way. I'm not, some stuff you got to kind of talk to me and talk me through. But for the most part, submitting to him is something that over years I've been able to just get better at doing. But I mean, I'm going to be 70 years old still working at this. That scripture, whichever number that was, 27, verse 26, somewhere in there. That's where I'm going to be living till I'm 70.
Dion, you've been quiet, man. You still boiling?
This is not Dion. This is
Bishop. My bad.
Bishop,
you boiling for Dion?
Bishop.
No, I'm just
22. Sorry, verse 22.
Verse 22.
Yes.
I'm just so concerned for this young man and his situation. hurt people is what
That's
I
a true
always like to
statement.
tell people. And him lashing out like that demonstrates that he's probably in some ways unfulfilled in some type of way. And it's very unfortunate. And whatever you may be experiencing or going through, I hope that you get the help you need.
Get it fixed quick. I mean, hey, like I said, I think he came to the, we're gonna deal with them with love. But and again, I'm curious. So I did ask them, hey, what's your point of view? Where you, what part were you focused on? What did you hear that kind of riled you up? Because, I mean, obviously something we said stirred his spirit up, stirred something in him that he felt like he had to respond. And again, I thank him for taking the time to respond. Bronze to gold, thank you for responding. Thank you for commenting, sharing, part of your point of view. Again, we all confused as to, exactly what you're saying, but, feel free to share us more. But for all the men and women that are listening, and again, don't want to dwell on this topic, too much longer, but, real masculinity, I mean, and it's all over the Bible. In Psalms, it says, a man easily angered is a foolish man, right? So it talks about having self-control. That's what manhood really is. It's not getting your way all the time. Like, that's not even an adult thought process. What? What? What did I? It's not an adult. That's real. My kids. I got young boys that I raised, and their mentality as young boys is, gimme. I get. I want what I want. And if I don't get it, my feelings are hurt. And to your point, Dion, I think I hear a lot of hurt in this message. Maybe somebody's been hurt in relationships. I've been hurt in relationships, so I can't even be like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, or I can't understand that. I've been in there, so I've been in relationships where it didn't look right, and it was, a toxic situation. And then I've been
He's not talking about me, everybody, just so y'all know. Is this on? Okay, go ahead.
But that's not all relationships. And the one thing that I realized as a man is I got to take ownership of my own stuff first.
Yeah.
I got to understand where I'm going, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish. And then a lot of this other, relationship starts working better. Who the Bible says, talks about not being unequally yoked. Well, in order for you not to be unequally yoked, you got to know what direction you're going. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're trying to accomplish in life. You can't get with somebody who's trying to do something else. And if you don't know what you're doing or what you're supposed to do, you got an issue. You're not equally yoked. And you're going to have this constant turmoil and battle all the time. And then you're going to be complaining, saying that your woman is disrespecting you. And if she's black, she's a black woman. She rolling her hair.
There's some thugs.
I got a friend. I'm not gonna say his name. I actually got two friends, and they actually they're saying they're writing off all black men. Very funny conversation to me. You said something about it earlier. I think women are women. I have I've known people who dated Latino women. They seem very high-spirited and passionate. Like they either gonna love you or they gonna either cut something off. Like it's like no in between. Yeah, they might be, yada yada yada. And I watched this Twitter guy, and this guy said he's not gonna date anybody in America again. Like never. He went to Brazil, and somehow Brazil.
That's close to. I mean, you gonna see this close.
Well, he went to Brazil, but that's what he said. He said it was American women. So he didn't, say black, white, whatever. He just said American women. But, he was saying that he's going to go to the Philippines, Brazil, he dating outside of the country,
Right.
right? Again, making
Let's just follow up with him in a few days.
You want to follow up with him?
Yeah.
I was going to reach out to him. I thought
See
it
how
was
that's going for him.
very interesting.
But that's back to your point. It's no accountability. Like, you're sending off some type of vibes, and that's what's attracting the people and usually you say best mirror. So you could date whoever you want to. That's not the formula for a successful relationship. It's still going to start in here, and to the people that you mentioned who I love and adore. I mean, that's that conversation. Like, I think it's rather humorous, but you live and you learn. So I can't really tell you about all women because I don't know all women. But the idea that you're just not going to date anybody else in America, I don't understand. You're not going to date the black, and that's okay. You know what I mean? But this has nothing to do with nothing, but just be respectful about it. If you're a black male, chances are your mother is black. So it's like, where is the respect?
And let me not say don't talk about people's mama.
I didn't talk about her. I didn't say no, your mama jokes.
You said your mama's black.
But what I'm trying to say about your sweet, brown skinned mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is your mom. So where's the respect in that? That's the person who brought you in this world. So
yeah,
maybe that's where it stems from.
Maybe
you don't want to date nobody like his mom.
And that's such a valid point.
That's what we alluded to last week.
I mean, nobody like your mom, and that's bad. You don't want nobody like your mama. Your mama gave up and sacrificed so much for you, young man.
Oh my gosh.
You still
we don't know. Look, Bernie Bronze gold, whatever. We're done.
I'm talking about this young man that ain't dating no more black women.
Oh yeah.
Your mom is black, like Carla said. And I just can't believe you wouldn't want nobody like your mom. That's hurtful and disgusting. You need to have hands laid in your face.
And disgusting.
I just think, and just to sum all this up, right? You go back to Ephesians 5, men, and y'all challenge me on this. I want to hear from some men. If y'all have something better, I don't think you can get more masculine to what Christ did for the church. I don't think you can get more masculine than that. I don't think none of y'all are men enough to really go through what he did, but that's the bar that he set for us to love our wives. And so, every time I want to get upset, every time I want to get mad, get pissed off, or, I'm not happy, whatever, I have to think that's the level of love that God has for me, right? And, transparent enough, and again, this is for another show, but, when you start responding and reacting in that way, and that's, and I guess he was challenging my stats. I pulled them from Google, so I don't know what was wrong with them or whatever. Divorce is going down this year, but also marriage is going down. Because the other issue is now people just don't even want to get married.
They decide not to get married.
They don't even want to get married.
That's facts.
Right? That's facts. So,
everybody want to be poly these days.
Want to be who?
Poly.
Poly? Who's poly?
Poly. I made the miss say it. It's like polyamorous, I think is what it's called.
Being by yourself.
Nah, meaning you
with a bunch of people.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Well,
men or women, like you just dating whoever tickles your fancy and floats your boat and rocks you.
Just stop fishing on that. Just stop wherever you go. It's a rock ship.
This fad or phenomenon or whatever you want to call it is definitely sweeping our nation, and it's something that is reaching epic proportion. And I think sooner or later it's going to be added to the letters. I think sooner or later these individuals are going to attach them to that. And
what are you talking about now?
Poly.
The poly. Oh,
Then you're saying that it's a category now, a dating.
It is. It's big. I mean,
I don't know.
I hadn't heard of it, and once I heard of it, it seemed like everybody that day was on that same page. I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. You know, you think back in the Bible days, you know, people had multiple wives and multiple things, but in those times, it was based off of how much money you had. You got to take care of all those women.
Boy, who can afford 2 wives? What? 2 of me? Baby, your money is out of here.
So no, I feel you, man. I think, you know, so I don't, you know, whatever the stat thing was, I don't know what it was. If you have some more correct stats, please send them to me. But I know for a fact, marriage and divorce is on a decline. And divorce compared to what it was in 1950 is still
looks totally different.
Yeah, it's what we are in right now as a culture is remnants, and I stand on this. It's remnants of generations and generations of us not protecting the family unit, not protecting it in the United States, not protecting it in the world, and as Dion pointed out, and if it hurts your feeling, not protecting it in the Black community. And some of that is our fault, and some of that is based off of, you know, things that we've had to deal with since slavery. So, you know, because, and the one thing that I would say to anybody who's listening to me right now, start holding yourself accountable. Like, hold yourself accountable for your relationships and your growth. Like, even the relationships that I didn't feel worked in my favor, I still had to reassess and assess myself. Like, what did I do? How did I even choose this person? How did I even get in this relationship? All of that is some unhealthy thing. You said it earlier, like, you attract what you are.
And where you are.
And where you are in life. So if I'm with a certain person and they're doing certain things to me, I got to look at myself and like, how did I attract that in my life? What about me said, hey, I need that type of thing in my life, you know? Maybe. So there's some accountability that
you do.
That's the problem that I see.
You don't think so?
I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, as the saying goes, people come to us as wolves in sheep's clothing, and it's hard to decipher their true intentions.
You see them fangs of that sheep
until it's too late, until you got teeth in your hind parts.
But you know, like for Samson and Delilah, he knew what she was.
He was tired.
So we know, you know, sometimes we run real close.
She did put the sheep's clothing on, real tough. But she's catering it.
But he knew that the key of all of that is he still ran real close to it. So you run close to something, you're going to get burnt, you know? So it's
she had that good.
Whatever she had.
Let's go ahead and call a spade.
She was a good-looking woman. Whatever she had.
She had that.
It was worth. Yeah. It was worth it to him.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Listen, anybody that's fallen in the Bible and in real life today, I understand your pain and I understand where you're coming from because, listen, every man's downfall, if you research it, if you go back, is in some way attributed to that source.
To the flesh, basically.
To that good.
But that's trumping common sense is what I'm trying to say to you. You know what it is.
Does.
Exactly. You know what it is. It's not that you don't know. Listen, I ain't been married always.
Okay.
And I have dated some busters. And guess what? I knew when somebody drop all the gas out your car and bring it back on empty, that's not a lifestyle for me. I like gas put in my car, not ran out. Okay. So in that regard, I knew. So I had to take.
But did you break up immediately when you brought the car back with no gas?
Nope.
Of course you didn't.
I didn't.
Because at that point, you were still under.
I was vested.
Yes.
But I had to get unvested because it wasn't healthy for me. But I couldn't blame that breakup just to him being trifling. I had to own up to I allowed him to do those things. You see what I'm saying? So to your point, accountability. And you don't got to broadcast it to the world. I don't care because I got a fabulous husband now, so it don't even matter. But I had to be honest with myself, you know. And then when you hear, you know, people talk like, girl, I thought you'd never stop talking to him. You be looking back like, oh, I was so stupid. Why did can I erase that part of my dating experience? But the accountability was always that. My mom always says, man in the mirror. So I always had to tell the truth to myself. Like, you can say what you want to say about this person, but you allowed that dumb. Let's go. I ain't gonna send them bad words.
Again,
on the family show.
You know, great question, great banter, but you know, it's about learning from it, right? And then also, everything isn't a deal breaker. You know what I mean? So you asked her the question like, you know, when he brought you your car back with no gas and then you didn't leave him, probably wasn't her deal breaker at that moment. You know what I mean? Probably needed some other.
Baby, all them deals added up to break it.
Right, they gonna add up. It's going.
It was coming out of my pocket. Yeah,
you have to be a good steward over your finances, and that was a loss right there. That was a loss.
Yes, that's in the deficit. Your girl don't do zeros. Okay, can't go backwards.
Amen.
You got to go forward.
Amen.
So, you know, a couple of takeaways: accountability, to me, equals masculinity, and it just equals adulthood. Being an adult, like you got to be accountable for what you do or say. You know, stop putting on the opposite sex all the time, like they doing me wrong. Women, men are all this, and women ain't this, and black women ain't this, and all of this. Like, stop. It's time to just take some accountability for yourself. And you know, again, we do this show. Again, I'm not representing black men or whatever you want to, you know, say. I am a black man. I'm very black. Yeah, I am. But I'm here to represent what Christ would say about this situation, right?
Sonya, we need you back, baby.
And you know, the challenge I would say to all men listening is, you know, read Ephesians 5. Really, really think on what God has done in your life. If you're not a believer, then yeah, I might be, you know, talking something that don't make sense to you. But, you know, even in the practical sense, you know, first of all, you a man, you're a strong man. Like you around here, to me, I'm hearing a bunch of dudes crying. I don't let my woman go to the club and go nowhere without me. I don't know what that is. Like that sounds like insecurity. Whereas, you know, somebody might look at me and be like, you insecure because you letting your woman do all of this. And, you know, I think it's a little bit to each his own. You need to find out what's working in your relationship, what you're going to tolerate, and continue to work on yourself and get better each and every day.
Be the best version.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I didn't marry my wife because she was like the best cooker in the world.
Whoa. Is that shade?
No.
I'm not the best cook.
She makes some bomb enchiladas. I don't know why. But that's not what,
okay,
you know.
show to get.
But no, that's what I'm saying. No, people, you know, that's the thing they're saying. Like if you're a wife,
Jesus.
Like if you're a wife, they say you're supposed to be in the kitchen cooking all the time.
I do. That don't mean I can't.
But that ain't why we got married. And if you don't cook, I'm gonna find some way to eat, right? I know how to cook.
This is going totally in another direction right now. This is about to spill over. Listen. Hey, let me tell y'all this though. Yeah, I know. Let me tell y'all this though. We value one to another these precious sons and daughters who have committed themselves to this thing we call marriage, and we honor it because God honors marriage, and we definitely want to always be exemplary of the kind of love that Christ has shown in his years. And we definitely are so appreciative of all the things that he's taught us through this good book called the Bible. So very glad for all of you who are tuning in and joining us on tonight. We just honor God for, you taking the time out of your schedule to be with us on tonight. You could have been anywhere, but you're right here. Re-up.
Re-up. Well, thank you, Bishop.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you guys enjoyed that show. My special guest was my very own wife. So, thank you, Carla, for, participating on the show in Lasagna's absence. Again, happy birthday to Lasagna. She was out of town that night. So we hope to see her back next week. But what you guys think about the show? What were your thoughts? Did you agree? A lot of good points, a lot of good things that we kind of came across in that one segment. The next segment coming up was based off, the newsworthy things that were happening last week. Brittney Giner, Breona Taylor updates, and just some of the social things that have been happening in the world as of late. So make sure you check out the whole live show. The link will be below. And as always, subscribe, share, tell someone about it. I keep telling you guys, this is a movement. I'm trying to change the narrative, change the world, make sure that, people understand practically who Christ is, and who he will be and who he can be in their life. So, really appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to us and join us. I'll see you guys next week.